Looks like it's working.
Okay, cool. Yep, looks like it's
Hey, got
start.
a notification on my phone.
Boom shakalaka. Really? That's awesome. Got a notification.
Yeah.
All right, so we're 4 seconds in, so we'll go right into it. What is up, people of the interwebs? I'm Josh. This is the Den of Nerds. You probably knew that. If you don't, shame on you. We are breaking down the story for Injustice 2. We're all really, really hyped about Injustice 2, and by we, I mean Dan and Justin. Let's introduce ourselves just because there's going to be thousands of people that stumble upon this video that have no idea who we are. So, Justin, what's up, man? Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
What's up, everyone? I am Justin. I am the Den's video game guy, fighting game enthusiast. Some of my friends call me the Scrub Puncher, and I'm ready to look over some fighting games.
Nice, I like that. I'm gonna start referring to you as the Scrub Puncher because that's awesome. Uh, Anime Dan, Danielson, what's going on, man? Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
I'm Dan. I'm Anime Dan. You can, I don't know, check me out on YouTube at my Anime Dan channel. I'm also on the Den Nerds a lot. I'm doing a WTF comic book series about some goofy Silver Age stuff. I love a good laugh, so
Awesome.
let's
Yep.
let's watch a
Dan's
trailer.
Dan's a hell of a guy. Just before we get right into the trailers, let's talk just a little bit about Injustice, our experience with the first game. That way, hopefully, we can get some more people in here. Just for anybody who does pop in, because sometimes it's a little weird. I see a couple people watching, but that could be inaccurate. We're gonna break down all of the story videos that have been released for Injustice 2 so far. Gonna give our thoughts, kind of go through it like that. But uh, let's start with you, Dan. Dan, did you play Injustice 1?
I never got the chance to play the first Injustice.
You
Uh,
never played it at like the homie's house when you were.
Not that I know of. I think people were playing other games. I don't know. I wasn't. I'm never too into fighting games. I try a lot of them. Never got to try Injustice. I know that Doomsday was in it, and that seemed super cool. Right? Was Doomsday in the
Oh
first
yeah. Oh
Injustice?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm thinking of
Yeah,
the
he
right
was
game.
awesome.
He looked baller. He's one of my favorites. So I'm hoping maybe he'll be a DLC character for the second one.
Yeah. Dude, Injustice came out. The first game came out when I was still in Edinburgh. By the way, for the one person watching, we all went to the same college. Actually, we all essentially know each other because of going to the same college. And so Injustice 2 came out when I was still living in Edinburgh. I think I was actually done with school, but I was still living there. And man, my roommate and I played so much of that game, and we loved the story. Like that was the one thing that really blew me away was the story. I thought it was really, really cool. I mean, Superman gets tricked into killing Lois Lane. Like
Oh man.
yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then he snaps, and is like, "I'm gonna take over the world now," essentially. But Justin, talk a little bit about your experiences with the first Injustice game, man.
I absolutely loved the first Injustice. I rented it several times, never actually did the full push to buying it, but I really, really enjoyed it. I mained Superman. Unfortunately, I didn't have anybody to play with like you because a lot of my friends started shying away from playing fighting games with me, hence the Scrub Puncher moniker. It's actually not as glamorous as you might think.
Okay. They
Yeah,
just didn't like
yeah.
getting whooped. Is that what it
No,
was?
the name basically has been given to me because I play enough fighting games to the point where I can beat absolutely anybody that plays it casually, but I
Okay.
can't hang with the pros. Like
Okay.
pros will
Sure.
absolutely thrash me. So I'm at that like happy low medium where I'm somewhat competent at the game, but just competent enough that people who rarely play fighting games do not want to play with me at all.
Right. I
But
got you.
Hmm.
I did a
Yeah.
lot of online play. I did fairly
Yeah.
okay on the online. Really, really, really hit it home with that Superman. I felt like he was incredibly strong in Injustice One,
Oh
and
yeah,
I'm
he
super
was
excited to
awesome.
see how he is in
I
the
just
second
love
game.
I love this the design. There's a lot to love in the game, but I loved how Superman played. Like his hits, he was fast, he wasn't too fast, but man, the way his hits, man, like it just felt like you were Superman, like clobbering people. It was really, really
Those
dope.
those those cross screen eye beams won me so many games.
Oh yeah,
Loved
and
them.
the the
Loved
the,
them.
the dash where he boom comes in and hits him like that too. That was really, really cool. I guess I just got lucky because my whole like group of like friends at that time really were into the game. So like we all had copies. So I was playing a lot of HeroClix, so I'd go over to like Alex Carfeld's house, and he'd have the game, and we'd do a couple matches while everybody was showing up. Or like I'd go over to Brandon's house, and he had the game, so we'd like play a little bit here and there. So I was like immersed in that world or whatever. But yeah, so the story was incredible. That was one of the most interesting things for me was, well, where do we go from here? Because the game launched a series of comic books that actually ended up being incredibly successful for DC. The Injustice books, they went on to do, I think, 5 years of books.
Oh man.
Like, yeah, like huge numbers. Now, I think none of those applied to the story of the second game, which is kind of unfortunate, but I think that they more or less had to do that in order to directly tie into the first game, which is fine. But that essentially brings us in to where we're at right now. But Justin, do you remember how the game ended, the first game?
It ended with Superman being incarcerated, correct?
Correct, yes. So basically, for those that don't know, there was our universe basically came in to this universe where Superman had created the regime and was this authoritarian figure watching over everything. And our Superman and our Batman, coupled with the like resistance rebels of that universe, ended up taking over Superman, beating him up, and then incarcerating him at the end of that. So that picks up, yeah, it was really, really cool, man. So that's where we start now, and there's a lot of mystery with Injustice 2, but let's get into the first of the Shattered Alliance videos, which is these trailer-esque things that NetherRealm, I believe, that's the company, right, Justin?
Yes, they make Mortal Kombat as well. That's
Yeah,
why the combat is kind of similar.
Correct, and actually weird, they did the DC versus Mortal Kombat game before this, which kind of gave them the opportunity to make this game because the people at DC loved that game so much, and they did some interesting things with the story. But so NetherRealm did a at least five part so far, video series called Shattered Alliances, and we are going to watch them react and break each one of them down. So you guys ready to get into the first one?
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do it. All right, so I've got it queued up. Dan, you're the guy, so you let us know when to hit play.
All right, we're gonna do a countdown from 3. Ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, play.
Boom.
In my years fighting crime, I've learned one truth: that every villain is the hero of his own story.
Oh man, Luther's got him. He's in like a Luther building in the prison. That's
Lex was my sub. I love me some Lex Luthor.
Oh, he was awesome. He was in the demo too.
You're better than this, Clark.
That's the problem with fighting for truth and justice. The battle never ends.
When does it stop?
When there's no more crime.
We are at war with these animals.
I won't hurt you unless I have to.
Hope isn't enough
Blue
to
Beetle,
save the
love
world.
it.
None of us
Kara.
wanted this.
You're either with me or against me.
We both knew it'd come to this.
Was only a matter of time.
I'll try to make it painless.
Nice. And so at the end of each one of these videos, they do a little dark side thing because they're featuring dark side as
Oh, cool.
as a character.
That's kind of that's really ramping it up.
Yeah. So we'll pause there. Yeah. First reaction. What do you think, Dan? What do you think of that?
That was awesome. I read a little bit about that regime, so I thought that was super cool. And one thing the first thing that popped into my head was a lot of like video game, comic book hybrids, the story is kind of contrived, it almost feels. And this feels like it's really tapping into, like you said, like this big background, like 5 years of books. It really feels like it's coming from somewhere, and I'm excited to see the story in this fighting game. So that's kind of different. Didn't feel that for any of the Street Fighter games, you know? I'm very rarely like, what are they up to in Street Fighter? But in this, I'm like, oh, what? Why? Whose side is Wonder Woman on? I don't even know.
I know. I'd like to believe. I mean, she'll probably be on Clark's side. One of my favorite things in just to kind of sidebar, because I like to tie in actual comics. Like in Kingdom Come, like old Wonder Woman and old Clark they had this moment on New Oa, and I thought I'll never forget it, where she was basically implying that he should have just taken over the Earth. And he should have done it a long time ago. Like, you know what I mean? Like she was making this case that like if you really wanted to help them, you should have just taken over. You know what I mean? And that always stuck with me. And she tends to always kind of be on Clark's side. She really thinks that he's like the Superman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like beyond just title, like that he is the Superman. But yeah, I love it too. Justin, what'd you think, man? What'd you think of that first one?
Oh my god, just the raw Superman power we see showcase in that trailer is just absolutely beautiful. I've always loved with Superman the whole God living among men story, a literal God living among the masses. And it's always been just this horrifying thought in the back of your mind, like the only thing with Superman that keeps him from being probably one of the most terrifying villains in comic book history is the fact that he's good, is the fact that he fits this
Right.
real lawful good archetype.
Right.
The fact that scene with Henry Cavill in Man of Steel, like say what you will about that movie, but that scene where he is walking down the hallway in handcuffs,
Right.
that's quintessential Superman right there. And I love to see that turned on its head. And I think that's just what makes that Superman such an endearing villain here in Injustice. And now on top of that, we have the arrival of the Supergirl on the planet. Because,
Yes.
correct me if I'm wrong, but here in Injustice 2, didn't she arrive to Earth, like, really, really late compared to when she arrived in the main timeline universe? I remember reading something about that. Like, this is
I
her
believe so.
just arriving.
Right, and that would make sense. I'm not entirely sure, actually. I mean, that would be a real weird version of the comics, you know what I mean? But that's okay. That's what Injustice is. But essentially, like, her whole thing is that she's older than Clark, but because of like this time displacement thing, she comes, and he's an adult, and it's her little cousin, right? And he's now Superman and shit too. So that'd be such a mind fuck if she came to Earth and he was a villain, not only a villain, but like the worst ever. That would be really interesting. So I'm not exactly sure if that's when she comes or whatnot, but I did want to just reply to the chat. Luca asked about the Joker, not in Injustice 2, and I've actually seen some stuff where people they found little hints that he might be in there, and they think that he'll be in, but it's just he's not been announced thus far. They have not officially announced him at all, and it would be the Joker from our timeline, because Superman kills the Joker of their timeline, in that's the big catalyst.
Okay, it would have to be a different Joker.
Yeah, it would have to be
Interesting.
our Joker or a Joker from a different universe. But I think as a first part to that story, I think it's pretty cool. It really introduces the idea, the conflict between Bats and Superman, which is of course brilliant, and we always love it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
There was
that's
a little bit of the Batman Robin bit in there too, where Robin's like, we're at war with these monsters. Because I think I read somewhere that Robin is more, let's take these guys out, and Batman's like, no, we don't kill anybody. Like, are they trying to make Robin like pretty bad?
I think so.
Our universe Robin, or is that Injustice Robin?
Well, in Injustice 1, one of the huge plot twists of that game that I thought was just like a brilliant masterstroke of writing is that Nightwing is actually on the regime's side, and Batman is fighting Nightwing. And you find out in the final penultimate battle against Nightwing, Nightwing says something to him regarding to Batman being his father and how he killed Dick Grayson. And Batman just says to him, "You're not my son. Dick Grayson is my son." So Damian Wayne was on Superman's side.
Yes.
Oh man.
And I'm wondering if that might be our universe's Damian Wayne as the Robin, or if that's going to be Jason Todd, or just which Robin is it?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I've heard that it is Damien though, so or a different son maybe. So that's kind of an interesting thing. But do you guys want to get into the second part here? Do you got Shattered Alliances Part 2 pulled up?
Yeah,
I'm ready to
Video
go.
2's got some Batman in it. I'm ready.
All right, bada boom, bada boing. Let us know, Dan.
All right, we're gonna go from 3 again. 3, 2, 1, play.
Boom.
Superman's behind bars. He couldn't see his good intentions were leading him down a path of tyranny and evil. That's how our greatest hero became our greatest threat.
This has some Red
Consider
Sun Superman
widening your
vibes
circle
too.
of trust.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nobody wins all by
I think that's going to be an
That's-
outfit.
I think that's Lucius Fox there talking to him
don't
too.
we?
Yes.
Not his.
I'm not that guy anymore.
Not his, I think.
Look, I get
first.
why you don't trust me,
To the
but
Green
you
Lantern.
should trust the Guardians. This ring means something. They put me through hell to get it back.
Don't worry, Bats. With this crew on the job, what could go wrong?
What comes next? Mere mortals cannot stop.
Dr. Fate.
Yes.
Fate will not spare you.
You wish you had.
Damn, Dr. Fate looks dope.
All day
Whoa.
I've been reminded how I failed to be a
Yeah,
hero.
that's Damien.
How many more innocent
First
people
Flash,
died
that was a
before
big
you
thing.
accept that some lives need to be
Or
taken?
Zoom, rather.
It'd be so
Regime is
cool if
making a
Zoom was a
comeback.
playable character.
Not while I'm
I
wearing
think
this
he'll be.
ring.
Haha, yeah. Oh, I love the Green Lantern, dude.
This is my fight, Bruce. You need me.
We both knew it would end this way.
Nice. All right, I'm gonna pause mine because they're just gonna do the dark side thing at the end.
So, so a couple of things I gleaned from this trailer. Probably the most important one is Hal Jordan fighting Atrocitus and saying, "I had to go through hell to get this back."
Yes.
So,
yes.
Dan, to initiate you into this, in the last Injustice on the Regime's universe, Hal Jordan was a Yellow Lantern. He was
Oh.
not a Green
Yes.
Lantern.
Yeah, which was so cool. Hey, real quick, guys, I just because Luca asked a question, who is the favorite character in Injustice 2? We'll have to probably answer with just what we've seen so far. But Dan, with just what you've seen so far, who do you think would be your favorite character?
From what I've seen, I'm really excited to see the Flash. It's always neat to see how they do the speedster in a fighting game, and I like seeing my combo count get really, really high. So it would be fun to do
Yeah.
some Flash punching or something.
Yeah, for sure. Justin, what do you think so far? Who's got
I'm
you?
honestly most excited for Dr. Fate. Dr.
Yeah.
Fate looks amazing. Amazing. And
he looks
he's
awesome.
definitely one of those heroes that can absolutely go toe to toe with Superman.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. It's tough at this stage, but I like what I saw with Damian Wayne when he just in that little trailer we just saw where he throws the batarangs and kind of holds the sword all badass and they blow.
Yeah.
That was sweet.
Like I'm really into that. Hey, real quick too, I want to just tell everybody that's watching, guys, we are currently breaking down the 5-part video series that tells the story of Injustice 2. We're gonna take your questions, so feel free to drop some questions into the chat. But we're basically breaking down the story and talking about what we think it means for Injustice 2. But let's get back to, we just watched the second part. Yeah, Dan, what did you think of that second part of the story trailers?
The most badass part, I thought, I agree with you, was Damien with the explosive Robin rangs. Those were super cool. I don't know, man. I don't know too much about fighting games, so I can't pick up too much on that. As far as the story goes, it seems good. The Superman is like a totalitarian guy. He keeps breaking out of these handcuffs, so I imagine that's part of this. He's not in prison anymore.
Well, I'm assuming that's his intro animation. You know what I mean? Like when you load up the match, they'll both say something, and I think that's his intro animation.
But is that
And
to
that'll-
represent that he is in captivity in the story, or that he's broken out in the beginning of this?
Yeah, I think it's just a little nod to the fact that he's going to be breaking out. I mean, we assume, I assume he's breaking out for sure. To that point too, I absolutely love the little line where he's like, "This is my fight, Bruce. You need me." Like, yo, I'm into that, man. Like, that is cool. Like, Superman behind there, and you know, Batman does not want to let that dude out. You know what I mean?
No.
But
Absolutely. And the fight that he is referencing is you saw Gorilla Grodd in the trailer. And actually one of the big focal points of Injustice 2 is the fact that Gorilla Grodd is leading this third faction that's going to try to fill in the hole that has been left by the absence of the regime.
The society.
So that's the reason why Superman's saying that Batman needs him, is because Batman needs him to fight Gorilla Grodd's new faction that's causing a lot of tyranny around the world.
Right. Super cool. I think that could be what they're implying, but I think there's a larger threat looming. We did the Brainiac video yesterday. I think that there could be something happening here where Brainiac is the big bad. Brainiac is the thing that they need Supes for. So maybe what if society comes in, right? But they don't think they need Supes for that. But what if when Brainiac ends up coming, they're like, ah, shit, we really do need Supes for this. You know what I mean? So
I could see that
Very
being
likely.
the tipping point. Yeah.
yeah, because I mean, Brainiac's on a whole nother level. You know what I mean? He's
Yeah, the cosmic style Brainiac with the ship and the collecting galactic specimens. Yeah, he's like a planetary threat kind of villain.
yeah,
Dark
he's
side
like
level.
Galactus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you need Superman and all of his buddies to deal with a full on
for
Brainiac.
For sure. Do you guys want to get into the next one? Just move right along.
Yeah, here we go.
I am ready.
Part 3.
And it looks like this one has a lot more views than the previous one, and part 4 has the most views out of any of them. So
That's
Yeah,
like
which is
the
interesting.
opposite.
Things should be
That's
getting good.
crazy. All right, here we
Yeah,
go.
I don't know.
Getting good.
Maybe. Yeah. Let me know, Dan.
3, 2, 1, play.
Boom.
Oh, hang on 1 second. I forgot I had my tab muted for editing purposes. Let me just.
That is all right.
Let me fix.
You
that
want to
real
restart?
quick.
Do the
Yeah,
countdown again.
Yeah, I will. I'm unmuting right now. Go. All right, 3, 2, 1, play.
Looks like Kara.
You belong to the House of El, Kara.
Good call.
Never forget that. Never
Oh, snap.
give up hope.
Little baby Clark.
This world needs help. We can give them hope.
Oh man,
You expect to best the god.
Black Adam.
that's awesome.
Oh shit!
Into the pyramids.
What? Tony, don't surrender.
We have to save them from themselves.
This symbol should give people hope. You've taught me what my powers can do. The House of El isn't ruled by fear.
You'll either make the right choice, or I'll make it for you.
Whoa. Frickin' whoa on that one. That was dope. Justin, what do you think? What popped off, man?
So you know how I said Dr. Fate was the character I'm most looking forward to? Well, now it's Supergirl.
Yeah.
Supergirl looks incredible. That ultimate ability, that ultimate combo where she throws her enemy around the sun and then chucks them into Earth's atmosphere from the sun. Okay, that looks awesome. And then on top of that, we have her rising as basically the new Superman. It looks like she's going to be fighting Superman's regime and just directly opposing Superman's ideals. And honestly, to me, that seems like a far more interesting clash than the clash between Superman and Batman.
Yes, I agree. I think that's I mean, for multiple reasons, just as a writer, like I see a lot of potential there. I mean, first of all, she's technically older than him, right? You know, so that's kind of interesting. Female, male, a clash of ideologies. Yeah, that seems pretty interesting. I think you're right. Dan, what do you think, man? What popped off?
Oh, I love this is kind of like a split two-body personality situation where Superman normally has this clash of I could use my powers to keep everybody safe, but they should be free to go about their own business. And they, like I mentioned, they explore that in the Red Sun Superman, and I think that's pretty like a beloved kind of story as far as Man of Steel is concerned. So we really get to see that like explained as far as these two characters go in Supergirl and Superman. That's gonna be awesome. So man, you're not going to have a boring moment here. You got Gorilla Grodd rampaging around with a bunch of bad guys. Classic bad guys gets brought into the mix, which is great. I saw Captain Cold as a playable character. What?
Yes.
You don't expect that. That's really cool.
I know.
The more Flash rogues in here, the better, because he has some great zany villains.
Yeah, he does. You know, I gotta be honest. The vibe I got off this was that this is not the main story. Like, they could be cutting it up in a weird way, but what if like this is Kara from a different version of Earth, where Brainiac, like maybe we've got the regime thing going on, but Brainiac has already invaded the planet. So like my thing is, I think that's actually a different Superman. It's either a different Superman or this is a time jump right after he eventually does get out. But I think it would be more interesting if it's a different Superman. He even looks different, right? He's got the little side armor things, and that could just be a cool way to differentiate. So potentially what I would love to see, and I don't know if this is true or not, but like what if when you do Kara's story, it's a little arc of her on that world or whatever. You know what I mean? And like fighting Brainiac and losing and having to come, you know what I mean? Like, wouldn't that be kind of interesting? What do you think of that?
It would be, but I think from what I've seen that the Superman with the like chin armor, that is regime Superman, and the Superman without the armor is our good Superman.
Right.
So she's going to be interacting with both Supermen and seeing a very different version of grown-up Clark. There might be a little bit of confusion in there, but I feel like the place that we see in the story is maybe that, you know, Supergirl either becomes known or ends up arriving on Earth after Brainiac has invaded and after Batman has released Superman from captivity to deal with the Brainiac threat.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, you know, I can definitely see it. And just for those of you watching, guys, we at the Den here, we're breaking down the story of Injustice 2. We're watching these little videos that NetherRealm has been putting out, and we're sort of breaking it down. But please feel free to ask us any questions that you have. We'll answer whatever, but that is essentially what we're doing. How about Black Adam, though? Holy shit.
That was nuts.
Dude.
He destroyed one of the pyramids. He exploded it with lightning. Come on. That's so totally great.
Dude, he took her through the pyramid, through the top, and then Shazammed her and destroyed the whole pyramid.
After he threw her there from an entirely different setting. Like they were in a much lush setting, and then he just hurls her over into Egypt and destroys them. Man. That was cool. That's an awesome finishing move.
Strong with Black Adam, man. I can't wait to get my hands on that character.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. Justin, what do you think? What do you think of Black Adam, huh?
What do I think of Black Adam? Like, come on, Black Adam looks great. Black Adam looks super duper strong. That super is just so cinematic and beautiful. And that's just one thing Injustice has always gotten right, is the super moves look appropriately stunning.
Yes, they do. Yeah, man. Like when I was doing the Brainiac video yesterday, and I was like, yes, they bring in the ship. Oh my God, it's so awesome. And his cronies and everything too. Black Adam, you know, awesome dictator too. Dude, Justin, do you remember how Shazam goes out in the first game?
Oh yeah, how Superman just basically heat visions through his skull, and you just sit there uncomfortable watching the entire time.
Dude, it was so brutal. It was so brutal, and it's Billy Batson. It's a boy. You know what I mean? And like, dude, Regime Superman is fucking hard as nails, and like that was one of the things I really really liked in the first game.
I'm
But
super excited to see this game. I hope it measures up to all this.
yeah, man. Me too.
Edge.
What's favorite super move in this game? Just from what I've seen so far, favorite super move. I don't know. I mean, I like the Green Lantern looking one. I mean, God, that Black Adam one. I don't know if it can get much better than that. I don't know, guys. Luca's asking about the favorite super move we've seen for this game.
Well,
I haven't seen
Dan,
all
you
the
go ahead.
trailers for who's out yet, but I did see that new Brainiac one, and I really like how that one finishes up with Brainiac like levitating up and his like minions like standing before him. That is like the best finisher so far for me.
So do you like that more, Dan, or do you like the Robin finisher, which was him throwing all the batarangs in the enemy and having them explode? Because that was definitely an ultimate finisher.
That was super cool. I do love the gizmo aspect, but I think I'm a bad guy. I like bad guys, Doomsday, Brainiac, that kind of stuff. So that was the best.
Dude, Aquaman's was so awesome in the first game. It's so cool. The shark, like he sticks you and puts you up, and there's this stream of water that comes by, and this freaking huge shark just takes a chunk out of you.
Oh my gosh.
That sounds awesome.
Yo, so Luca just asked us about the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite trailer. Justin, did we watch that? Are we doing any coverage for that?
We are doing coverage for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. We're going to be doing a short video that I'm going to try to get out today for you guys. Try, that is.
Yes.
And
we're
I'm going to be
definitely
talking about all the
covering
new
that game.
characters. We're definitely going to be covering Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I'm super excited for that game. Played a ton of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and the base game as well. And I really think it looks very, very promising. So we're going to be covering both of the huge superhero fighting games that come out this year.
Yes, we're definitely going to be doing that. We tend to get a lot of we have a lot of comic book people that subscribe to the channel. Like they either like watching our views about the comics themselves or the comic book mediums, games, and movies. So we are definitely going to be covering Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and we're definitely covering obviously a lot of Injustice too. So yeah, man, Luca, if you haven't subscribed yet, and I think you have, make sure you do so, just so that you can get all those videos. And for those of you that are just joining, we are breaking down the story videos for Injustice 2. NetherRealm did some little cinematic things. And dude, we're hyped. The hype train is real. That last one was really, really dope. So let's get into the next one, which would be what, part 4, guys?
Part 4. Yeah, that was
cool.
so exciting and explosive. We'll see
man,
how this goes. All right, 3, 2, 1, play.
Boom. Rad.
Oh, yeah.
In a few short hours, we break the yoke of oppression. Forever!
Yes, forever!
My mole in Gorilla City says Grodd's planning something big. But what, where, when, we don't know.
Our time has come.
Deadshot.
No more regime. No more Justice League.
That looks like Scarecrow, I think.
That is Scarecrow.
Today, the world welcomes its new masters. The Society.
That's a lot more than a few society members. It's all of them.
Today, we show the world that we are superior. Today, we bring anyone who would dare stand against us to their knees. You've overstayed your welcome.
We're happy to check out, but you're coming with us.
Nice aim, Deadshot.
Just get the job done.
Oh man. Whew. That was pretty dope. That was pretty stinking dope. Let's get right into it. Real quick, James Bryan, we just simply don't have enough information to make that call. We're actually going to be talking about that. We do a live show every Thursday called the Nerdy News Hour. So go like us on Facebook, because that's one of the topics for the show. It's kind of comparing Injustice 2 to Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. And to be honest, just because the trailer just dropped, we haven't done enough research on Marvel vs. Capcom to really make that call. But we're going to be going over that on Thursday. But thank you very much for the question. With regards to that dope-ass video we just watched, Justin, what popped off to you, my friend?
The Society's members look incredibly imposing. We've got what we've got. Just calling off the top of my head, let me know if I missed any. We got Gorilla Grodd. We've got Captain Cold, Zoom, Cheetah. Cheetah's her name, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, Cheetah. And Bane and Catwoman and Poison Ivy.
Yeah, there was Scarecrow too.
Yeah, Scarecrow.
You said Deadshot, right?
I not say Deadshot.
No.
And Deadshot.
Yeah, real quick too. Love how Deadshot was able to shoot the Flash. If there's one person that can shoot the Flash with a bullet, it is Deadshot. That was dope. But yeah, man, those members look dope. Bane was really, really cool in the first game too. Liked him a lot.
That was nine society members between.
Yeah,
what you
I
two
think
could
they're.
remember. That's a big roster for a faction.
Dude, I think they're good. I agree. I think they're going in on this game. I think they're giving us a lot of stuff. I mean, Zoom, I think is definitely going to be playable as well, which is just smart for them, right? I mean, that's not really too different than Flash. They probably just made a couple different changes. But Dan, what did you think of that trailer, man?
First thing, Grodd's finisher, I'm so glad it's just him slamming you like a gorilla. I love it. I love Grodd just being a huge gorilla that lumbers around and smashes things, who can think about what he wants to smash next. So pumped that Grodd is in it. I'm going to play a ton of Grodd. Man, Captain Cold fighting Superman, that was a great clip to show, because, that wouldn't go well in any place except this game.
Yes.
Just bunch of cool stuff. That was also really cinematic and explosive and had my attention the whole time.
They did a great job with these things.
Yeah, they spliced the cutscenes in together with the gameplay really well, where I could barely tell what's a finishing move and what's a dramatic scene from a story element, and
that's because all the cinematics is in-game engine stuff, which is brilliant. Real quick, shout out to Rob McDonald from the Rebel Scum podcast. What is up, Rob? Your question. Nice. Do we think Darkseid will be incorporated into the main story of Injustice 2, or will he just be a DLC character? Justin, what do you think of that question?
It's possible that we might get some hints of him in the main story, but with how heavily they're pushing Darkseid as a pre-order bonus, I honestly would say the chances of him actually showing up in the main story as anything other than a maybe out of left field endgame boss character are very, very slim. I think it's far more likely that we're just going to be getting Darkseid as a DLC character, a pre-order bonus to make people pre-order this game, and maybe we'll get to see Darkseid as an actual big antagonist in Injustice 3, because if Injustice 2 goes well, you know how people love trilogies these days.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. What do you think of that question, Dan? You think he's going to be in the story, or do you tend to agree with Justin?
I don't think, based on where this trailer is coming from, this is just the Injustice trailer, and they're having the Darkseid feature in it. I don't think it's going to be a pre-order exclusive, because sometimes that tends to be pre-order from this venue or do it from here kind of a thing.
Right.
So I'm thinking he's going to be probably included. I think he might be the last character revealed. I think there's still a third of the characters need to be revealed. The next reveal is on the 28th. That's coming up.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a DLC. So I think...
Yeah, they say pre-order now for Darkseid.
Oh, my bad.
So
okay.
he is a pre-order
that's okay.
character.
There we go.
We haven't watched the whole thing. My thing is this. I think he'll be a pre-order bonus. I don't think he'll be in the main story. But I do think there's potential for him to be a villain in a DLC package. I think that would be really cool if they did a little mini Darkseid arc. Maybe not full game, but you know what I mean? The ability to pay $15, get him as a character for those people that didn't pre-order maybe down the line, and also have maybe a little story with him, but I don't think he's gonna be in the main story of the game actually. I don't know. That's just kind of the vibe that I get from it, Rob. I don't know. Rob, what do you think, man? Hit us in the comment section. Do you think he's gonna be a part of the story, or do you think he's just DLC? But for those of you maybe just joining or whatever, we're just breaking down these story videos for Injustice 2. We're giving our thoughts. And I think we're on the last one that's out so far, guys, right?
Part 5.
Yes,
yeah.
indeed. Part 5.
Okay, so let's pull up part 5.
Bring that over. And
Ooh,
3.
Give me just one. Give me 1 second.
No
Sorry.
problem. No rush.
No remorse, no prisoners, no survivors. Brainiac has arrived.
Is that the description or title?
That's the description, yes.
That is not a bad description. Oh man, my Chrome's being all dumb.
Uh-oh.
Alright, I think we're good. Come on, Chrome, you can do it. Oh, and now it's just playing it. Awesome. I tell you what, go ahead and watch it, guys, because it's already playing for me.
Alright, Dan, go ahead and count down for me.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, play.
Nice, I was able to get on that actually.
My God.
Who, Kara? Who is it?
Oh.
We need to get Cal. Now!
Earth's defense is irreversibly compromised. Begin the countdown.
Holy.
Oh man. Oh wow.
Not as subtle.
Brainiac.
No.
Not subtle move.
Not subtle at all.
I seek the one you call Superman.
You have no idea what Brainiac can do.
For years, I believed I had destroyed Krypton.
You're afraid of him. How do I beat him?
You can't. Superman's survival is an oversight I must correct.
Whew.
I collect worlds, and then I discard the remnants. I match your strength. You cannot match my intellect.
Allow me to give you a proper demonstration.
Swamp Thing. Is that the first time we saw?
It's a work in
Yeah.
The juxtaposition between the spaceship
Yeah.
and Swamp Thing there.
Oh man. Dude, yes. Ugh, that was super dope.
Swamp
Dan, what
Thing
did you
knocks
think,
over
man?
a desk. That just stole the show for me.
Yep.
That was
Yep,
killer.
definitely. Yeah, man, that's sick. I mean, dude, Brainiac.
Oh, dude,
I,
that was
don't-
like full on movie trailer invasion. Like they did the whole
know,
thing.
dude. Yep,
The army of drones just immediately abducting people. Brainiac's not trying to ransom anything. He's just like, I'm gonna destroy it all. Give me Superman. You might as well anyway. And that's gonna be awesome. Like now everyone is just like, well, shit. There's nothing for the society to take over if it's exploded and put in a test tube. So Gorilla Grodd's gonna team up with the Flash. He's gonna team up with Superman. He's gonna team up with Batman to fight Brainiac. Yep, I'll play it.
yeah, dude. I mean, like that's the
Cool
perfect
story.
thing. Yeah,
They're
I
gonna
think
team
that-
up with Swamp Thing,
Yeah,
most
man.
importantly.
Yeah, most importantly, for sure. Justin, what do you think, man? I mean, obviously, it's dope, right? I mean,
But most important piece of information we've seen here, Supergirl knows who Brainiac is. She knows.
that's what I'm
She
saying.
remembers.
That's what I'm
yeah.
saying. That's why I kind of believe. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, like with Kandor and everything, it depends on how they do that. You know,
Well,
the version of the comic.
She said he destroyed Krypton. He said he destroyed Krypton. So she
Right.
probably remembers him from the destruction of Krypton.
Right, but that's different than what we would expect from that story. So I don't know. I think that what's funny is, so yeah, they're showing us a lot of beats here, but I don't know the order, and especially if they spread it out multiverse style, the potential is really cool for them to not have a lot that we don't know going into the story, which we hope, right? I mean, we don't want the whole thing spoiled. But yeah, just the cinematic quality of this. Brainiac, I think, is the big bad. He's the catalyst. He is why they're going to let Cal out. I mean, I love that when Batman was like, how do I beat him? And Superman's like, you can't. You know what I mean? Like, very dope. Very, very cool. So, yeah, so we've watched all 5 parts. What are our impressions of the overall story? Maybe not what we think exactly is going to happen, but what are some of the highlights we're looking for? What do we expect will be our favorite parts of this? Justin, I'll start with you. We're through the video thing, so what do you think?
The story looks like it's going to be very, very cinematic in nature. We're probably going to be jumping around between a lot of different characters. That's not only going to be a great way to introduce the story through a bunch of people's eyes, but it's also going to be a chance for us to essentially try out a bunch of different characters before we can jump into the meat of the game that's going to give us most of our time, which is the multiplayer mode.
Yeah, that's true.
Really, really excited to see Supergirl and Superman team up against Brainiac. Like, we got in the pre-order now thing in the background. We've got Supergirl standing behind the Digital Deluxe Edition with what's clearly supposed to be Brainiac's face behind her. So we're going to get a lot of that Supergirl, Superman, Brainiac fight. I'm just wondering, as like a prediction, maybe this will happen. I kind of want this to happen thing based on the What If comic. But looking at the Batman I've seen at the end of every single trailer, he's got a lot of green on him. Maybe Green Lantern Batman?
Ooh, that'd be nice. That'd be really cool.
Probably one of the strongest DC superheroes in existence.
Yeah, no, I mean, that could be really dope. As far as what pops off to me just in general, the story, I love, like I said, the first game really surprised me. It surprised me because that story was amazing. Like, in going through that story, even though it wasn't really that long, I think I beat it in a night. I think it was only like 6 hours or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a very, very short story.
Yeah, it was short, but it was cool, man. It was cool. It was engaging. I love Elseworlds. I think that all comic book fans love Elseworlds. So that's what it really felt like. That's what Injustice is just a very cool Elseworld. So to see the way they're going to continue that story, Superman's in prison. I love it. I love the fact that they're going to need to break him out. I love anti-hero stories, so if the rogues and the society ends up having to join with them, yeah, that could be really, really cool. Real quick, I'll address the chat, and then I want to get your thoughts, Dan. Rob says he agrees. He thinks that Darkseid's just too big of a villain to be thrown into the game. DC knows that he's a big hit, so they might save him for part 3. And James Bryan says that he thinks that green is an anti-Superman armor with maybe some kryptonite, I think is what he's implying. Running through there.
Like that a lot.
I like that a lot too, actually. I think that's super dope. But Dan, what do you think, man? Just overall thoughts of the story. I mean, are you drawn in or what?
Oh, absolutely. I totally want to see where this goes. As far as what I'm looking forward to, I want to see a little bit of interaction between everyone. Like when I load in a game with 2 characters, or I'm playing through the story and 2 characters are fighting, I want those, it doesn't matter how unrelated they are, I want Zoom and Swamp Thing to have a little bit of quippage between them, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that really will do it. It makes fighting games, any kind of character select battle game, feels a lot more fun and personable when they all have a little bit of dialogue and interaction.
Speaking of being fun and personable, probably the thing I'm most excited for in this game are the costumes. You'll be able to change your favorite superhero's costume. They're probably going to have a bunch of legacy costumes in there, and you'll be able to mix and match, and that will alter your character's stats. So once you find a playstyle that you like, you can build the kind of superhero that you want to play.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think that's going to be very interesting and very important.
Mind-blowing. You know what I mean? Like, mind-blowing. That was one of the first things I heard about when it came to Injustice 2. Like, they didn't have to really tell me anything. They could have just said Injustice 2, and have bought it. But the fact that the armor customization is part of it, like I love RPGs, I love RPG elements in games. So like hell yeah, dude! Like being able to adjust your armor to your playstyle is fantastic. I think that's a super important element for sure. Yeah, man, I just this is really cool. I'm looking forward to breaking down the comic book series that's going to lead up into this. Look out for that on the channel, guys, everybody that's watching. Overall, I'm really blown away by these videos and what they've been able to do with just what are essentially less than 2-minute videos that preview aspects of the game. Very, very cool. Do we have any final thoughts? And guys, we're going to be ending the stream probably in about 5 minutes. So if you have any last questions, hit us up in the comment section. But is there any last thoughts or little pieces that we were introduced to here in the story that you guys want to talk about? Justin, I want to go to you first. Last thoughts on the story for Injustice 2.
The story for Injustice 2 definitely looks like it's going to be intriguing. I hope they handle the transition between fighting the Society to fighting Brainiac well, because there could be maybe some missteps if they don't really ramp up the tension between the Justice League and the Society. So I really want to see that we get enough time to have that Justice League versus the Society narrative play out before Brainiac gets introduced. I'm afraid we're going to get just too little of that narrative and rush too quickly into Brainiac being the big bad, and that might hurt the game a little bit. I'd almost like to see maybe 80% of the story be Justice League Society, and then maybe 20% be everybody versus Brainiac.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair. I think that's fair. I would really like them to see it draw it out. I don't know if I quite want to go 80-20, but 50-50 could be really good. And like, I guess basically we want this story to have room to breathe. These character moments seem awesome, but if they're condensed too much, they're not going to have the impact. So yeah, I think that it does need to spread out. They should probably double the length of the narrative that they had in the first game, or even maybe more. So I think that's a good observation and a fair statement. Dan, what pops off to you story-wise? Just general thoughts on what we saw for the live stream. Anything jumping out to you?
You know, that's what I'm thinking about now is in the course of these 5 little trailers, we saw the whole Society kind of story element and the Brainiac story element and the kind of revenge of Krypton, Supergirl versus Superman element. So that's a lot of elements. And I am going to be disappointed if, like, the first Harley Quinn mission, like the little bio thing pops up, like the little before mission thing pops up, and I read it, and it says something like, after the attack of Brainiac on Earth, the Society has decided to work with the remnants of the regime to da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
And then it's like, yeah, that could have been this game, and the next game could have been what you're doing now, you know what I mean? So
Sure, no.
Yeah, Let It Breathe, I think, is a really great analogy for it. Give it a second. But this like big exciting fighting game, I'm excited to like play some fighting games. I really don't play fighting games, so is this a good fighting game? Is my time well spent on this? Probably.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
the combat itself is amazing. Like, go ahead, Justin. What do you think?
It's a lot based in the sort of new Mortal Kombat sort of style. So you end up having definitely these like long combos. There can be a lot of juggling that you can do of your opponent, chaining into super moves and chaining into your ultimate attack and all that. But it's just very different from, say, what people would say a little more floaty fighting game that has combos heavy, sort of like, I think Tekken 7 comes out the exact same month. And I actually prefer Injustice to Tekken solely based on the fact that all of your hits that you're going to make in this game, Dan, every single punch you feel is going to look and feel like it has weight. Okay. And it's just that little tiny thing that not only makes combos seem like they flow a little easier for me because I feel like I have a little more time to execute them, but it also just generally makes the combat feel more visceral, feel more exciting. You're going to be getting a lot of mileage out of the combat in this game, and it's not like, say, I know you guys probably haven't played these, but CyberConnect releases a lot of, say, like party fighter games based on anime series like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Naruto. I I want to go into Xenoverse a bit, and that's not CyberConnect. That's like Bandai Namco. Sorry to say that, but those games have a lot of flash behind them, but not a lot of balance. There's a lot of characters that are clearly stronger than other characters, and a lot of characters just don't really seem like they're viable. But Injustice is not only flashy, but it's balanced, and that honestly makes a world of difference, even if you're a casual fighting game player.
No, I agree. And actually, just to tie it into the story element, there was this thing in the first game where all of the heroes were taking either this serum or this drug. So they essentially all got power boosted up to the level of like almost at Superman level. So that was how in the story they were able to take these hits and do this kind of stuff. That was cool because I liked how they put that in the story, because honestly, like a lot of these characters, like there's no way Harley Quinn would be able to mess with Black Adam. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no way. But they put a diegetic element in there. It essentially said in the story, there's this serum and they're all taking it to get on a level playing field, which was cool. The combat itself is incredibly balanced, and I just am addicted to it. Like, it's funny because I think we're going to end up making a lot of comparisons between Marvel vs. Capcom and this game because of Infinite, and they were around the same time. Yeah, the timing was weirdly similar before as well. I think both of the games are actually really competitive, but almost for different reasons. They're completely different, the systems within them. But Injustice, the first game felt like it was like Mortal Kombat it was a little faster than a Mortal Kombat game, but it had that same kind of space between hits. Yes. The ability for you to get, not get comboed, to break a combo, but also, that whole kind of hold back block style of fighting that you're used to with Mortal Kombat. I really liked it. I thought it was incredibly tight. The thing that Injustice did so well was not only have a great story, but have just do what a fighting game does really, really well. Like, they hit the two main components. That is why it was magic to me. So.
Oh, can I ask?
Marvel versus. Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to ask you guys, like, maybe kind of flip it on you. Was there anything in the first game that fell short that you're hoping they get right in 2?
Interesting question, Justin. What do you think?
As far as the first game goes, I really felt like a lot of I really feel like the roster should have been expanded. I know we got a lot of characters, but I sort of feel like that they could have done more with the characters that we've gotten. And also, even with the what if characters that we've gotten, we had like Yellow Lantern, Hal Jordan, and all that. Even with the way his visual effects worked out, they were still the exact same as his Green Lantern visual effects, but just simply recolored. And I would have liked to see these what if characters maybe have some additional visual elements that maybe mechanically acted the same, but just visually looked different than their core superhero counterparts. So I'm hoping they're able to go that extra mile with Injustice 2. I mean, they've already painstakingly modeled a ton of extra costumes for these characters, pieces that you can mix and match. So if they're willing to do that, I'm hoping that they also extended that into those additional visual effects that will really make me feel like this what if character is different than this core universe character, even though their fighting styles are exactly the same.
Yeah, very good point. I just want to address the chat real quick. Lucas says he wants Marvel to make a game about X-Men versus Avengers or Civil War, just like Injustice 2. That could be amazing. They do have that Square Enix Marvel game that we know very little about, so potential there. And also, I just got to give a shout out because Popshot Gaming said, I know we're here to talk about Injustice 2, but those guys' beard levels are over 9,000. Matt, which is not only an incredible compliment, but always love a Dragon Ball Z reference. So awesome. Thank you very much. As far as the game and your question, Dan, the only thing that I can think of, and I fanboyed out on this game, so it's really hard for me to pick something, but the online play, I forget what character it was, but there was a character that people tended to favor online, and I think that just kind of happens in games. But man, it was annoying. Do you remember that at all, Justin? I don't know if you played online too much, but I forget what.
I did play the online a lot, but it was so long ago, and our
Yeah.
experiences could have been vastly different. You could have just unluckily fallen into a trap where you were playing the same characters. But that is one thing to be said about a lot of online communities and fighting games, is that there are people who will look at a tier list and consider a tier list absolute, completely independent of skill level, which
Right.
you should never do with a tier list, even though tier lists are excellent tools for you to see how matchups work and see which characters are thriving in whatever the current meta is. You should never take it as, oh, I'm not a good player, but because Batman is considered the best character in the game, I should be able to crush every single opponent as Batman.
Right.
And that
right.
ends up leading you into a lot of fights against the same character. I remember when Street Fighter V came out, Ken was doing really well in the early games, and so was Charlie Nash. So I ended up facing a ton of Kens and a ton of Charlie Nashes and not cutting my teeth on a couple of other characters, and that ended up making my fights against those lower tier characters, those rarely used characters, a little more difficult. And it does get frustrating when you're like, oh my god, this is the 15th Ken I fought today in a row. What's going on? And I don't think that's much of an issue with Injustice. It's just fighting games in general.
Yeah, you're probably right. Hopefully, too, the customizable armor will address that issue a little bit. So, like, maybe, yeah, because I mean, if you're really into Damien and maybe he's kind of weak, maybe you can adjust him with some good gear or something to make him better. Popshot Gaming asks, did they cover all the characters who are confirmed in the game, or there's still some unknown? I think that it's fair to say there are still a couple unknowns. I don't know if there's anything that they haven't shown completely. Like, they've shown Cyborg and Blue Beetle, but I haven't seen much gameplay from them. So
yeah, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are, as of yet, 11 characters that have not been revealed. So far, the revealed characters we've got are Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Supergirl, Aquaman, Atrocitus, Gorilla Grodd, Deadshot, Harley Quinn, The Flash, Blue Beetle, Bane, Poison Ivy, Brainiac, Robin, Black Canary, Swamp Thing, Catwoman, Poison Ivy, Cyborg, Dr. Fate, Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, Firestorm, who we didn't get to see a lot of in any of those trailers.
Yeah, nice.
Green Arrow, Black Adam, Captain Cold, and the last revealed character was Scarecrow. We're getting another character reveal on 4/28.
Nice. That'll be perfect. That'll be awesome. All right, guys, so that's pretty much going to do it for this video. Like I was saying, this Thursday on the Facebook Live show we do every week, we are going to be addressing Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite vs. Injustice 2, compare, contrast, and talk about that. Also, we're going to be having James from the Rebel Scum podcast on that show. We're going to be talking some Star Wars too. And on Friday, DC is doing a live stream for Injustice 2, and Justin is going to cover that for us and do a video after that. So look for that during the weekend. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so. Let's do a sign off here. Justin, let the people know where they can find you online, man.
You guys can find me on Twitter at Emperor_Justin. That is my Twitter handle. I do pretty much all my video work here on the Den of Nerds. And as far as other content we got coming in the pipeline for you other than Injustice, I've got Mass Effect Andromeda review coming out that I've had finished for a while. There's a Persona 5 review coming out very soon. I did a Persona 5 video recently about it being the quote-unquote most millennial game ever. That you
go check that video out. I love that video.
And yeah, a lot of other games coming in the pipeline too. Doing coverage, doing some Destiny coverage, gonna look at Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, of course. So yeah, look forward to a lot of gaming stuff ahead.
Awesome. And Dan, where can the people find you, and what do you have in the works?
Oh, keep watching the Den of Nerds. You're gonna see my hilarious WTF comic book series. And besides that, go ahead and follow me on Twitter at anime__Dan.
awesome. Dan's What the Fuck series is absolutely hilarious. The first one made me laugh so much, so go check that out. And I think the second one's going to hit either tomorrow or the day following. Thank you guys. Popshot Gaming says thanks for the stream. Thank you guys for chiming in. That's awesome. This is like one of the first times we ever did this here at the channel. So we're going to be looking to do this more often. You can find me at Joshua Adam Lucas on Twitter. Josh Likes Comics with an X on Instagram is where I do most of my social media stuff. So check that out. And yeah, thanks very much, guys. We're going to end the stream here. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and nerdy day, and we'll see you.